Hello and welcome back to the Vegan Remix. My name is Alicia if you're new here, and this channel is about making baked goods and cooking in a vegan version basically. But today I want to talk about how to substitute eggs in your baking, because it's one of the more challenging parts about substituting and making a recipe vegan. So let's get into it. So the first really important part of being able to successfully substitute an egg in baking is knowing exactly what that egg's role is in the recipe that you're going to bake. So eggs play many different roles when in baked goods. They can be to aerate things, add a little bit of lightness, fluffiness to the cake. They can be as a binder to bind things together. They could be a healthy fat. They play all of these slightly different roles, and it affects the outcome of the cake. So you need to use a substitute that can provide the same thing that the egg was. So there are a couple of different options. One substitute that people tend to use a lot and is a very popular and well-known substitute is mashed banana. Mashed banana is not the best egg substitute, and there are way better ones out there. Yes, it is a substitute, you can use it, but after today, I'm pretty sure you'll have a list of other ones that you could potentially use instead. Mashed banana only really works as a binding agent or something to add a little bit of moisture to the mix. Otherwise, it's not all that useful for adding an air or anything like that. So some other possible egg substitutes include egg replacer, soda water, yogurt, applesauce, bananas, apple cider and baking soda, or apple cider vinegar, sorry, and baking soda. Now each of these also perform a different role, and I'm going to very briefly go over it. I'm also going to leave some links and some resources down in the description for you to do some of your own research and have a look. I also will potentially include some videos where I have used this method of egg replacer. The most common one I use in the kitchen is actually the store-bought egg replacer, just because I find that it's actually super duper convenient, really easy. You just add it, mix it with some water before you use it in baked goods. You can't use it as a powder first, and it's basically just starches from my understanding, and it is gluten-free as well, so you could have a vegan and gluten-free cake using egg replacer. But back into the role of the other egg replacers. For egg replacer, as I said, super duper versatile. You can even I've attempted to use it for meringues and not had much success. However, it does say on the packet that you can use it for meringues and things that whip up like meringues. But I've yet to have that work for me personally. I do know people that it has worked for though. Then we have carbonated water, which is pretty much just an equivalent of a quarter cup of water to one egg, and it aerates the mixture, adds some moisture, makes it light and fluffy. The cooking time does tend to be slightly longer for this one, just because you have to add a little bit of extra time for the water to cook off. But other than that, it is a great egg substitute. Applesauce and bananas, they're both binding kind of agents. They kind of thicken up the recipe, help things stick together. They also add a little bit of sweetness, so you can reduce the sugar if you're adding banana or applesauce. The only downside to adding either of those is that sometimes there's a little bit of a flavor difference, which is not ideal for some things. Like, you don't really want your vanilla cake tasting like bananas. And then lastly, we have baking powder and vinegar, and yogurt and baking powder. Basically, it's an acidic or a basic kind of solution, and baking powder. I generally would make my own buttermilk using apple cider vinegar, and then there's already baking powder in the recipe, so it works together, and then it causes more aeration, therefore replacing the eggs, so it would be to add a little more air into the mixture. The only thing with adding extra baking powder is that sometimes, especially if people are sensitive to the taste of baking powder and baking soda, they can taste it, and not everybody likes the taste of baking soda and baking powder. So it's just one thing to keep in mind. But as you have now seen, there are way more than just mashed banana and store-bought egg replacer. There's a whole list of things that you can use, and there's some I haven't even covered. So If you want more information, please check out those resources down in this description box below. Also, if you like my content, please consider hitting that big red subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you get notified when I upload. And if you found this information useful at all, please let me know in the comments down below. And if there's anything you would like me to talk about next, or any ideas you have for future videos, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much, and peace out till next time.